Jurgens, Junkie, Coyotes win it! South Dakota is back-to-back 7-league tournament champions, and the Coyotes are headed back to the NCAA tournament.
The South Dakota volleyball team has run its win streak to 8 games and is now 8-1 on the season. Hey, Coyote fans, I'm John Thayer with the head volleyball coach, Leanne Williamson. Coach, you're coming off of really an excellent weekend. Your team takes care of CSU Bakersfield. Then you have a hard-fought early set with West Virginia. You battle through that, win that, and then Saturday night against Northern Colorado, another 5-setter and another Coyote victory. Really solid weekend for your group.
Yeah, I felt like our team stayed pretty steady throughout the weekend, and we know that when we're playing good teams, it's not always going to come simply. You know, we very much believe that we can win in 3 sets, but that's not going to happen every time we step out on the floor. So staying patient, you know, making sure that we continue to make small changes as the match goes on, adjust as needed. But I just feel like every match that we've played, we've just gotten a little bit better every single set, and that's exactly what we talk about with our team, is getting used to the pace, getting used to the attackers, some of those tendencies. I felt like in all 3 matches, I felt like we saw that happening, especially obviously when we get into that 5th set as a team. Overall on the year, I feel like we're actually stronger in the 5th set than we are in some of those earlier ones, which is exactly what you want out of your team.
How about Madison Harms this weekend against West Virginia? She hit 571, and then the next night in a 5-set winner, 633 against Northern Colorado. Very effective with her opportunities.
I mean, she's incredible. I don't think that there's another way to fully put that. And, you know, I even woke up this morning and came into work and said the same thing again of just, I mean, it was so much fun to watch what she was able to do. And I think even for her, she struggled a little bit against Bakersfield, definitely got into a little bit more of a groove against West Virginia, and then was even better the next night against Northern Colorado. And I think each one of those teams challenged her in other ways. And I think the really cool thing is West Virginia, I think, was at least somewhat prepared for her, but she, you know, kind of got better and better and better. And then Northern Colorado tried to focus in on her. And I still feel like she found ways to have success in some really, really tough moments, and she was a huge key to our success on Saturday for sure, but Friday night as well. And it's been fun to watch her grow, and I think the biggest thing that I see is just her confidence just keeps getting better and better. And I think with that, she feels more comfortable making adjustments or you know, scoring the ball in different ways, whether it's hard driven into different areas of the floor, or whether she's tipping it all over the floor based on what the defense is doing. And blocking too. I mean, she was just all over the place, and it was probably one of the best single performances that I've seen while I've been here.
You look at what your team has done right now, 8 consecutive wins, wins over Power 5 conference teams, which obviously is always something you can appreciate. The confidence right now with this group just has to be sky high.
I think it's getting there, yeah. I think the thing that we are the most confident in right now is the fact that we can get better as the match goes on, and that we can play with anybody when we are at our best. But the other part of it, and I think this is important to remember, is that we're also confident that we can make changes when things don't go well. You know, we played pretty poorly in set 2 versus Northern Colorado, and they played really well. So, I mean, they forced us kind of into that a little bit, but I didn't feel like that affected how we came out in that next set. And that's hard to do, I think, as a really competitive team of understanding that those ups and downs are still going to come. And when those downs happen, when the negatives happen, that we just have to be able to reset. And they've done that at a really high level. I do think I would credit it a little bit to just the work that this team is putting into each other, you know, the relationships and the communication and the trust. I mean, it makes a difference, and I think we're seeing it on the floor.
When you just look at what this team is doing right now and the way that they're winning matches, and you talk about a struggling set and then they bounce back, I mean, we talk about momentum all the time in sports. Well, volleyball is a big momentum sport. That's why you use timeouts sometimes when you do to break up momentum and some of that. But what's the number one key when a team struggles in a set to bounce back and not let that struggling set compound into another set loss?
So I think within our program anyway, we talk a lot about learning through failure, and I think it's one of those things where as as a competitor, as a person that, as a player that really wants to be very good, I think it can be hard to do. But when we fail, there's always a lesson to learn. And I feel like this team right now has really bought into that. And, that set 2, we know what we did wrong. I mean, and honestly, it was one part of our game. We didn't change anything going into the next set in terms of our lineup or rotating around or starting in a different spot. We just went back to the things that we knew were going to help us have success, which was serve and pass. And a lot of times when we struggle, it comes down to serve and pass. So, I think we as a staff have been able to kind of pinpoint what those things are that we need to work on and get better at and shift our focus to, but the team has rallied around that as well. And I do think, again, now seeing us do it multiple times, going into fifth set, 4 different occasions, and seeing us have success in those ways, obviously the more success you have in those situations, the more confident you're going to be. And I just feel like with each match, we're just getting a little bit closer to what our potential is.
You're on to Tampa, Florida. You're supposed to go to Tampa when the weather turns here, but you got to go to Tampa, Florida this week, take on Stetson, Cornell on day number 1, and then South Florida on Saturday. What do you know about those 3 teams?
Again, they're going to challenge us in some different ways. See some different things, different tendencies, and that's what this is all about, is just being able to play so many different opponents that are going to help us learn about ourselves, what we can and can't do, what are those things that we're good at, what are those things that we struggle with, and, that's, I feel like these next 3 opponents are going to be another challenge, partly because we are nearing the end of preseason, and we probably do feel a little bit more of the fatigue, a little bit more of that that aspect of it. And now it's how do we travel, how do we find success on the road, which we have to do in conference. We have to be able to win matches on the road in order to win a conference championship, and we all know that's our ultimate goal. So these traveling trips are important for us to learn that about ourselves individually and as a team. What do we need to do both to take care of ourselves and to prepare in a short time frame to be able to find success on the floor again?
Well, we're looking forward to seeing how the weekend goes. Coach, thanks for the time. Appreciate it, and have a great week this week. Good luck. Safe travels down to Tampa.
Thank you. Can't wait to be back next weekend.
All right. Well, the Coyotes take on Stetson and Cornell on day 1 down in Tampa on Friday, and then on Saturday against South Florida. South Dakota's won 8 straight and is now 8-1 on the season. For the head coach, Leanne Williamson, I'm John Thayer. Have a great week and go Yotes.